What's up, everybody? Bryce here. Welcome to another We Won Picks DraftKings edition for UFC 316 in Jersey. Headlined by Merab against Sugar. It's a rematch for the bantamweight title, and you got the co-main event of Kayla Harrison against Juliana Pena for the women's bantamweight title. So both bantamweight titles up for grab. Both are pretty big favorites. Kayla Harrison's like a minus 700 favorite over Juliana, and Merab is pushing, I think, like minus 350 right now against O'Malley, which makes sense considering how the last fight, went down. Overall, should be a pretty good card. We now have 13 fights on it. They added 3 fights this past few days to get it up from 10. So it should be pretty good. The ownership should be spread out for DraftKings. We'll get into that in a minute. But before we dive into everything, head over to WeWantPicks.com. Sign up to become a premium member. It is $10 a month. So $10 a month, you get the AI simulator. You get the DraftKings Optimizer. You have the DraftKings ownership projections, which are by far, in a way, the best in the business. And you also get all the betting picks. It's $10 a month. That's nothing. So go sign up. You do a month right now, and you get UFC 316. You get International Fight Week with Topuria against Oliveira. So you got a lot of good fights coming up this month. So head on over, WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. All right, so we are changing up the format a little bit. I do a free article for WeWantPicks.com every week, so I'm going to go over my favorite play in the 9K and above range, the 8K and above range, and the below 8K range. So my favorite play for DraftKings in the 9,000 or above range is going to be Merab. I know it's kind of a cop-out because he gets 5 rounds and he's the champ, but the dude is truly a fucking machine. He scored over 130 points last time he fought O'Malley at UFC Noche. He averages 119 DraftKings points per UFC fight. That is insane. He's priced at, I believe, 9,000 flat, so you want at least 10x, 11x is typically going to be optimal, and he averages almost 12.5 that. So, yes, Sugar's saying it was a torn labrum, it's fixed, that's going to be helpful. He's been training with Izzy, he's been training with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, but Merab's just a fucking beast, dude. He shot like 30 takedowns against Umar, or he shot 60 in one of his fights. He's just relentless, non-stop. So yes, O'Malley does have the KO ability because he can knock anybody out with one shot, but Merab is a really good fighter. He's very smart. He's going to take O'Malley down and control him. He's averages 9.2 takedowns in his last 10 UFC fights, and that's including the fight against Jose Aldo where he had 0. So the dude is a monster, non-stop cardio machine. He's going to push the pace, get O'Malley down on the ground. He's not going to stand up and exchange with him because that's stupid. He would get knocked out and lose in a boxing match. He's going to rely on what his game plan has been his entire UFC career. Get takedowns, have control, look for a ground and pound finish, and if not, he'll chain wrestle, O'Malley get back up, he'll just wear him out and either win by decision or get a late round finish. So Merab is my favorite 9K and above play. Alright, my favorite 8K play is going to be Sergey Spivak. So he's going up against Waldo Acosta, who has won a few fights in a row, including beating Roman Despain and then Tafa Bros. However, he has not fought anybody who's nearly on the level of the Polar Bear. So Sergey, and 6 of his 7 UFC wins, has scored over 100 DraftKings points. His only losses in the last 5 years are to Tom Aspinall, the interim champ, Cyril Gane, the number 2 ranked heavyweight, and Yalton Almeida, who's I think the number 5 heavyweight, maybe number 6, and he's also looking like he's going to be a title contender this year or next year, depending on if that division ever fucking gets moving. Besides the point, he's only lost to 3 of the 5 best heavyweights in the world. Acosta's not one of those. So Acosta looks decent, he's a good kickboxer, but Sergey is going to drag him to the mat, and he's going to just show that there are different levels to this game. Like, you can go ahead and you can beat a Roman Despain, one of the Tafa Bros, whoever's going to be in there, but he hasn't fought the pedigree of opponents that Spivak has. So Sergey, he has wins by submission, knockout, decision. So I think he's clearly going to look to figure out whatever he can to get the win here, which should be nice at 8,300. If he averages over 100 DraftKings points in his wins, and he gets that at 8,300, he is more than optimal. He's going to pay off his salary, and I'm hoping that we get him a little under-owned. because the new flashy signing Apache Mix for the UFC, he's at 8,500. So those two will soak up, I think, a lot of the ownership in the 8K range, because you really only have Chaos, Holland, and those two in the 8K range. But we'll have to check and see. Ownership doesn't come out for another couple days. The good news is you can go to we1picks.com, become a premium member, and get the DraftKings ownership projections for $10 a month, and they're the most accurate in the business. So once again, head on over and sign up. My under 8K play of the week was kind of tough to pick. There were a few people who I really liked. The cop-out route would be Juliana Pena, because she's like 6,500, and she gets 5 full rounds, if she survives against Kayla Harrison. However, I'm going to pick Vicente Luque. It's kind of hard to pick this one because I love Kevin Holland. Holland is super fun. He's super active. He talks a lot of shit. He has he's tall, lanky. I think he has a 6-inch reach advantage. He's a really good striker. He has some pretty decent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. However, Vicente's coming off a really nice submission win of his own. He had a little setback where he got hit so hard his brain was bleeding, so he had to sit out for about a year. But, who has Holland beaten the last 5 years? Or not 5 years, 10 fights. So for him, 10 fights is like 2.5 years. But he has 7 losses. He hasn't beat anybody good. Like, we're saying, yeah, he came out and beat Gunnar Nelson. Congratulations. It's Gunnar Nelson. It's, yes, he's in the UFC, but he's not a world beater. He's been beaten by everybody who's decent in the division that he's faced. And so you have a guy who typically has been finished in his losses whenever Holland loses. So give me the underdog. He has a 100-point upside, especially if he gets the finish against Holland. And I just think Holland's in there to 100% get his 6-figure paycheck and head on back out to the ranch and do whatever he wants to do and come fight again in a couple months. He's super fun. He's super active. Fans love him, but let's be honest, he's just not the quality fighter that you think of like he used to be. So my cheap play of the week is going to be Vicente Luque. Alright, well, appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you guys like the new format. So we'll be doing this moving forward. We'll have another video out next week for next week's UFC card. Remember, head on over to we1picks.com, sign up to become a premium member. It is just $10 a month. We will have the slate sleuth out on Saturday morning with the actual plays. You'll get the top plays, the GPP plays, the live dogs, and the fades of the week. So again, head on over to we1picks.com, sign up, and we'll see y'all later.